can Clicksource help with the ordering phases? So this is in relation to what Gail discussed about ordering phases. This is very important in an e-commerce journey because um, a lot of people think that selling online is just like looking for items and then just posting it and selling it. You know, it's not, well, that works, but for you to be able to be successful in doing online business, or doing e-commerce, you really need to put a lot of thought into the product you're selling. So we usually tell our clients, when they ask us is, because a lot of people ask us, oh, what are the winning items to sell? I see a question there, also that that says, what are the best selling or winning items to sell? That is actually very subjective because it depends on the category, it depends on the niche you want to go into. So, like for example, fashion, what type of items are sell in the fashion niche? Some people specialize in shoes, rubber shoes. Some specialize in, sandals. So it depends totally on what you want. And one thing we see that's very important is actually the seller is the seller has to be passionate about the item they're selling. So if they're not interested in the item they're selling, it's harder for them to sell it. So a lot of the successful sellers are actually people that are really, they really are interested in the items they're selling. They're not just selling because they want to earn money or they want to, profit, of course, is part of it. But if they really like the item, it's easier for them to, to market it, to sell it, because they're passionate about what they're selling. So that's actually a big part of it. So when you say how to look for the best winning item, maybe the first question to ask is, what do you like? What are your interests? And then maybe go from there. Because if you like, for example, gadgets, what can you sell in the gadget niche? So that's where you start your research. And then from there, you can just come up with a one product store. A lot of people started one product stores. And then from there, they can see if it moves. And then after that, they add more products in their store. So there's a lot of ways to actually do it. But the most important thing is for you guys to, find a product you really like and something that you will use also, of course, and something that you believe in. So that's where you actually can start your, finding the winning product. There are actually a lot of tools online. Like if you guys want to do like research, there's a lot of tools online that can help you look for the best selling items from each category. So maybe we can, share that later. Yeah. So, okay. So going back, the ordering phases. So next slide, please. So on the first phase which is the testing phase. How can you actually look for the items there? You can just do a search on the Clicksource platform. Most products have zero or minimal MOQ. MOQ meaning minimum order quantity. So for you to be able to start, of course, you want to test out the item. So this is the testing phase. So you can just order like a few items to test. So for example, you want to test like 5 items. So you can just order a couple of items and then just ship it here and then see, and then post it and see which one sells more. So that's how you actually do the testing. If you try to do an Alibaba, AliExpress source, not all the suppliers are willing to give, just ship out like a couple of items. So that's what we can actually help with in terms of that. So it's very testing phase friendly for us. And then, yeah, so you can just add the items and then add to cart or wish list and then just pay for products, check out the items and then we do the ordering for you. So that's as easy as that. So next one is validation phase. So this one is if you need more items to sell, you after the testing phase, you already know which items sell more. So you can order more items of a certain more quantity of a certain product. So same thing, you can search for products in the Clicksource platform, or you can just reorder from what you just ordered, and then just input the number of products you want to purchase. So when you go into the product page, usually there are the price point depends on the range of items you buy. So some suppliers, a lot they already specify, like for example, if you want to buy 1 to 50 items, this is the price. If you want to buy 51 to 200 items, this is the price. So a lot of them have like ranges already of the prices based on the quantity you're buying. So in that case, you get a better deal if you buy more. So depending on the item you're looking at, you can actually see that on the page as well. So that's where you can decide like how much you're planning to order for the validation phase. Next, please. Okay, for the scaling phase, this is where it's exciting for a lot of sellers, because for the validation phase, you're sort of like verifying if your product sells. So if you actually sell out all the items on your validation phase, that's when you are sure that your item is actually saleable. So when you do the scaling phase, this is when a lot of people do customization. They want to put logos on their items. If you notice on Lazada and Shopee, a lot of people are selling generic items, right? So when they sell generic items, it's usually a price war. So which one is cheaper? Which one is the better deal? So when you do when you do scaling phases, this is actually a chance for you to brand your item. So if you notice, a lot of the generic items, once it's branded, for example, you just put like a brand X on your item, it can actually sell for a higher price, and people actually buy it, even though it's exactly the same item, but it gives a premium to the item that you're selling. So when you do branding, a lot of people invest in branding. That's the reason why a lot of people invest in branding, because you just change a little of the packaging. You put like logos on the items. It gives the buyers a sense of, it makes it more premium for them. Like it feels like, oh, I'm buying a branded item, something like that. So this is where the sellers actually earn a lot, and they know that since they already tested it and validated the product, they know that this product will sell. So for them to invest in branding at this point is actually the best way for them to sell more. So that's how a lot of the sellers and successful sellers do it now. Yeah, so that's where we can help with Clicksource Premium to look for brand. We help you brand the items and do a white label for the products you sell. Excuse me. So yeah, so next slide, please. So this is what I've been mentioning about a while ago, like what the difference of Clicksource and Alibaba, sourcing on Alibaba is. So there are what we want to achieve is to remove the disadvantages of sourcing on Alibaba. So based on what sellers are experiencing while sourcing on Alibaba, we came out with a list of pain points they have. So usually when they sell on when they source on Alibaba, one major issue is communication, of course. Although most, I mean, all the sellers on Alibaba can speak English, but of course, there's a lot of things still lost in translation when they talk to them. So it's hard to deal with, misunderstandings, and sometimes they get the wrong item. I mean, they make the wrong item or order the wrong item for the customers. So after that, there's nothing you can do anymore because everything is already made. So there's a lot of like mistakes like that, because of communication. And then one other thing is also they need to convert payment to another currency. So a lot of sellers, especially new ones, as we all know, the credit card penetration in the Philippines is not really high. It's only like 1-2% of the total Philippine population. So if someone wants to sell, they really need to have a credit card to be able to source on Alibaba, because how can they pay? There's no other way for them to pay for the items if they don't have a credit card. They can do telegraphic transfer, which is also expensive. And if you just when you just transfer a small amount, it's not really worth it because the service charge is usually more expensive than the actual product. So those are the challenges in terms of payment. And then next is selection of items, great selection of items, but most have high MOQ. So this goes back to the seller profile in Alibaba because most of them are actually big companies. Big companies can do global trade in China. So for them to be able to do global trade, they need to have certain licenses. And then for them to sell globally. So a lot of these companies, of course, with those higher operating expenses, they tend to add more premium to the product they're selling. So that's one disadvantage. And also they require a higher MOQ because it's more worth it for them to do compared to just selling like a couple of items. So that's one disadvantage as well. And the next would be, language barrier, which is the same as the first one. And then arranging shipment from China to Philippines is difficult. So when you buy from a supplier in China on Alibaba, the shipping is not included. So they don't really take care of the shipping for you. So usually you have to look for your own shipping agent. You have to look for your own forwarder for the items to be shipped here. Some of them actually have options for you, but most of them are more pricey because, of course, when you sell on Alibaba, they sell to the global market. It's not just the Philippines they sell to. They sell to US, to Europe, to different countries all over the world. And Philippines is a relatively small market, so they don't really specialize in the Philippine market. So that's one disadvantage. So you have to look for your own shipping agent. So that's one disadvantage we usually get. And then searching for suppliers can be time consuming. Challenges in finding a steady supplier or manufacturer. So these all boils down to the suppliers you're trying to look for. So you really have to do a lot of research on the suppliers if you want to source on your own. And finding a steady supplier or manufacturer. So for us, so these are the items we're trying to alleviate or try to lessen for our clients. So for Clicksource.com, since you guys are dealing with us and we're a local company, you don't have really any language barriers. So we do the coordination for you. We have actually people in China who can verify and do, they talk to the local suppliers to check um, about certain things, during the order process. And then you can pay in peso easily. And then there are a lot of suppliers and products that have no to low MOQ. So, like what I've mentioned, these are suppliers that sell to the local China market. So a lot of them just, can easily sell you a few items without question asked. And they don't need like a high, they don't need a global export license for them to do that. So that's the suppliers we're actually in touch with. And then great customer service experience because we have a team that's always there to answer you. And then you can just wait after you order, you just wait for your shipment at your doorstep. So you can opt to have the orders shipped to you, or you can pick it up at our warehouse. So it's really a seamless way for people to source for items. And we hope that this will help people, in the Philippines do online business or just basically find items easily. Yeah. So next slide, please. So how if the ordering process for Clicksource, if you guys are curious to know, is it's just like when you're buying online. So you just look for the item, you add the item to cart and create the order, and then you pay the product price only. So this process is the one that differs from like buying on, but online store, because take note that all the products listed on our platform are not ours. So we don't really sell those items. It's actually sold by suppliers connected to our platform. So for us to be able to order from them, we need to pay them before they actually ship out the orders. So that's that's the first step in with the ordering process. So you just have to pay for the product price, and then we have the order shipped to our China warehouse, and then from the China warehouse, it's shipped to here in the Philippines, and then once we receive it, that's when we actually collect the shipping fee. The shipping fee is not imputed in the cost initially because this it's very, it's the cost of the shipping would depend on your item, like how big the item is, what it weighs, things like that, and how much you're ordering. So we have to compute that when it arrives in the Philippines. What we usually do is we give an estimate of the shipping fee based on what the supplier gave us. So we usually ask them, how big is the box, or how what's the measurement of the order, what's the weight of the box. So based on that, we can actually help you estimate the price, the shipping price. But there is no definite, exact way to compute it. But most of the time, it's roughly accurate naman. When it arrives in the Philippines, that's when you actually pay for the shipping. You just have to pay for the product when you do the ordering. So yeah, so after you pay for the shipping, you can pick up the goods already from our warehouse, or you can have it shipped to your doorstep. So it depends on what option you're choosing. So it's very it's very straightforward. Next slide, please. So sourcing for products at Clicksource is like shopping online. So like what I mentioned, the experience is pretty much like doing online shopping. That's what we want it to, what we want it to feel like, so that it makes it easier for clients to, to purchase items. If you have experience sourcing on Alibaba, usually the process is you have to, chat with the representative. So there's like a chat with us button there. So you chat with the manufacturer, and then the pricing on Alibaba usually is not the exact price. So sometimes they just put their $1 or $2, but the actual cost of the item is not really that, because they, when you chat with them, they will ask you like what, how much quantity, what model do you want. So that's when they give you the exact price, and they give you like an invoice or a purchase order, and then that's that's how they cost the item. So it's not really an add to cart type of thing. So with us, whatever you see on the product page is usually the price that's being charged by, the price of the product. So you can just add to cart. There are some scenarios where the price might be different, but it rarely happens. Uh, so if that happens, actually, when we talk to the supplier, we will inform you why the price is different, because sometimes they just did not update the page. So they say, oh, the price is already changed or something like that. But most of the time, the prices are actually accurate based on what they listed there. So yeah, so that's how we want the experience to be for our customers.